my fellow wedding florist friends, and welcome to the Wedding Florist Social Podcast. This is the podcast for wedding florists to learn all about acing their online presence. I'm your host, Vicky Laffey, and as a wedding florist of over 10 years now and a certified digital marketer, I want to help you get the right clients, get more followers, and never be stuck for content ideas again. Click the link in my description to get your free Wedding Florist Guide to Social Media Content Creation today. So welcome. I want to talk to you today about online reviews. The good ones, the bad ones, the lack of them, sometimes the crazy ones, why we should all have them, and how to get them, all sorts of things really. So this all stemmed really from when I launched my new book on Amazon a few weeks ago. And, I want to sort of just be totally honest here. I received a bad 1-star review from one person, and it normally I don't let these things bother me, but this really affected me. And it was my first book ever, which was a big deal for me. And this was my first review on that book, so I was kind of gutted, really. But the more I read it, the more I kind of calmed down, because the more I realised how silly it was, really. My book is very clearly described as being blank templates and forms and, things along those lines, sample terms and conditions, etc. Yet they complained it was just forms and templates, and even went so far to say that I described it like that, but she was still unhappy when it turned up like that. So I'll be honest, I even looked further into it, and she has a habit of kind of leaving 1-star reviews for things as well. I wouldn't have even minded if it was a 3-star review or something like that. So, but she came back with a really extreme 1-star review. So I've received other great reviews, but because of that one bad review, my book now sits at 3.5 stars over on Amazon. And, I was a bit gutted, to be honest. But I've I quickly calmed down and came to terms with this. Why am I telling you this? Well, first of all, this whole experience kind of really gave me a great idea for this recording here. I think reviews can be incredibly important in the online space, and particularly in the case of Amazon, where these customers, these browsers have never met me, and they never will. But, who knows how many more books I would have sold if that person had just, perhaps come to me and offered some feedback instead of just immediately resorting to this extreme 1-star review. I think we've all kind of been there in business, especially if you've been in business a while. We've all been there. We've all had a review, and you've thought, if they'd have just come to me to sort of sort this out first before, resorting to this low-star review, then everybody could have been happy, and there was no need for the review. Quite often with these reviews, it's the first you hear of an issue. I think in our wedding florist business, it carries a lot of importance as well, and more so on Google. If someone is Googling around for a wedding florist and they come across, two companies that they like, but one has 3 stars and one has 5 stars, and, they're more likely to contact the 5-star one first initially, aren't they? Take social media, for example. Bad news can spread really easily. I don't know if you heard about this over on Facebook, but recently there was a story that spread like absolute wildfire across Facebook, and it was a wedding venue. I forget the name of the venue even now, but maybe that's a good sign for the venue. But there was a wedding venue who tried to implement a fee for suppliers to work there, and this wasn't just a little kind of arrangement with the recommended suppliers or anything like that. This was like a fee for all suppliers, and it did not go down well. News spread really fast, and everyone on Facebook and it was talking about it, not just people in that area. People across the wedding industry just they were all talking about it, and there was so much backlash at the end of it. They just completely backtracked basically, but by then the damage was done. They had to shut down their reviews for a while. They had to really, really deal with things in a different way. The damage was done to their business at that point because people were leaving reviews. They were sharing posts. They were bad mouthing the business online, and it's actually probably for a little bit of greed at the beginning, they've done more damage than good. There's going to be couples who would have perhaps booked them who now won't, and so I don't think it was a particularly wise move. But I think it was made a lot worse by online reviews and online presence in general. So, but I do think people are very savvy, and they do check out reviews, good and bad, before making a decision. It's a bit like, if you've ever booked a holiday and you go on TripAdvisor to, kind of just say, read. Sometimes I go on just to read the negative reviews, to be honest. But you read the good ones and the bad ones, and you sort of think, oh well, I see that person's point, but I'm not really bothered about that. Or that person seems a bit silly. That's a silly thing to complain about. Or so you don't just take the 5-star review for granted, or the 3 stars or whatever. You kind of you read further into it. I think people are very savvy like that, but still, it does help having the best ratings and reviews. I know when I used to have my retail shop before I really sort of niched down and specialised in weddings. I had people come to me occasionally who, because there were other flower shops on the high street within a few hundred yards of me. I had people come into me, and because they'd Googled me and I had a 5-star review, so they came to me first. So it does help. I should say, I don't want all this, to be all negative and doom and gloom today. We certainly shouldn't be afraid of, bad feedback, or even worse, held ransom to it. I have heard stories like that where, wedding florists have been kind of held ransom to it. And, I'm going to give you a bad review if you don't do what I want or give me what I want. Thankfully, touch wood, that has not happened to me, but I have heard of people saying that. But, I don't want it to be all bad and doom and gloom today. I want to talk to you about kind of harnessing the power of good reviews as well. Google and Facebook, those are places where people can actually leave reviews, as well as people sending you thank you cards and Instagram DMs and stuff saying thank you and giving you feedback and reviews, or even comments on your social media posts. You can absolutely use these and not just in one place. Absolutely milk good reviews. You can send your recently, in terms of, how you get these things, you can send your recently married clients, for example, a link to leave a Google review. If you can actually go onto Google My Business, onto your Google My Business account. And there's a little link that you can click on and just copy and paste into an email to ask your clients to leave you a review. If they send you a card or a DM on Instagram, for example, take a picture and a screenshot and pop that on your Instagram stories along with a picture of their flowers, for example. Put that story into a highlight, an Instagram highlight, and labeled reviews or testimonials or something like that, and get those pictures on your website page entitled testimonials or happy clients or something along those lines as well. So it's, we're not just talking about using these things in one place here. And, it's not just about public kind of reviews on forums like Google and Facebook, which are still, important if you can get them. But it's about using, positive feedback and thank yous and reviews in general. And this can be in more than one format. If somebody sends you a card, you don't just have to have that card pinned on a wall in your studio, for example. Get it out there into the online world. It's if you follow Floral Quarter, my business over on Instagram, you'll see that I sometimes do that. If a bride or a groom or whoever has sent me an Instagram DM, or maybe they've just put a comment on a picture of their flowers that I posted, for example, I will screenshot that. I crop it so it's just just their words, and I will pop that on my Instagram stories. And that Instagram stories then goes onto an Instagram highlight labeled, I think it's called testimonials or something like that. I even made an Instagram reel of one, actually. I just booked this absolutely ideal client, and she sent me an email back, after I'd said, thanks for booking, etc. She sent me an email back saying, Vicky, it was as easy to say yes to you as it was to say yes to Matt, who's her fiance. So naturally, me being me, I made a reel out of that, so I did a video of some flowers and kind of put her quote over the top of that. It's really important to have this sort of content, this like user-generated content and real client reviews, because it builds up more of a trust with viewers online. They can see you, see what real couples have said about you, and what they've felt or experienced, and they can therefore see it's not just you being some sort of fake account online, or someone who pretends they're something that they're not. It's basically what they call something called social proof. It's the online equivalent of asking a group of friends if they've used a certain product or what their opinion is. If you're down the pub and you're asking, can anybody recommend a good plasterer or something like that, or asking them if they can recommend a certain thing, and you're more likely to trust that, somebody's more than somebody who's like put a flyer through your door, for example. I think I would love to know. Do get in touch, DM me or something like that. If any of you have ever had a really bad or really good experience of reviews, I would love to know. Have you ever had a time or a situation where you've just thought, if only that customer had just come to me first and let me resolve it, then we would both be happier, and it wouldn't have affected my reviews and ratings so much. So I guess, to kind of sum up, to sort of, summarize, I would say, to help your business with in this respect, go get more reviews. First of all, if you're going to do anything today, go ask your previous clients for reviews. This could be a Facebook page review. This could be a Google review. Even just some feedback on an email, whatever it is, go get some more reviews off your customers, so that you've got this feedback, you've got a feel for what they experience, and you've got some content to post. This is, absolutely get yourself out there, get more reviews. Don't be afraid to contact people. You don't have to ask everyone for reviews if you don't want to. You can just ask ideal clients. I find that particularly useful, to just ask ideal clients, because they're the ones you want to attract more of, and you want to hear more about what they say and what they experience, so you can offer more of that. However, don't be disappointed if you get something that's slightly not negative, but if somebody said, it would have been great if we could have had this, or it was a shame that, don't take that to heart. Just take it with a pinch of salt, take it for what it is, and just kind of move on, take the good from it. Get those reviews on your socials and sing about them, basically, and pop the links to your testimonials page all over your website as well. That's a huge thing. On my website, for example, I'm a big fan of leading people around your website, so that it's it's not just one page and where do we go next. For example, if you go to the I think on the galleries, for example, there is an option to, do you like this? Go, okay, click here to go onto my inquiry form. There's options to kind of go on to, if you want to read more about what real clients have said about me, click here first. People might want to do that before they inquire. There's even on my email template that I send out to invite someone for a consultation after they've inquired, there's even a link on there to the testimonials page on my website. So absolutely, get these things on your website, get these things on your socials, and really kind of milk them for what they're worth. So I hope you have... I hope you've enjoyed listening to that today. I hope you've all got some great online reviews, and if not, get out there and go get them. I hope it's been useful for you. Hopefully it's been informative, and I'm glad to be back after an extended hiatus of lives and podcasts and things like that. Thank you very much, COVID, but I'm glad to be back. So thank you so much for tuning in. Well, thanks so much for listening all the way to the end of Wedding Florist Social. Remember to hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you want access to some free community and support, then head across to Facebook and look me up on the Worldwide Wedding Florist Community Group. I look forward to seeing you there.